You know, in 2003, I asked my principal whether or not we could teach an astronomy course. I felt that it was the hottest science in the 21st century, and we should be teaching that course exclusively. Students will love it. She went back and thought about it for a while, and later she came to me and she said, would you still like to teach the course? I said, yes. I've always been fascinated by space. They send out pictures like this. This is Earthrise, the first time that the entire planet had been seen in its entirety, rising over the surface of another body in space. And how about this for perspective? We've got the Earth from 5 billion kilometers. 1 pixel of light, 7 billion people coexisting in that tiny spot. It gives us an indication of our need to get along in our fragile place in space. You know, I've become known as the astronomy guy, and as such, people give me telescopes. I've got 6 of them now. And I tell the students, point it at a part of the sky that's seemingly completely blank. And what you'll see is an amazing sight of thousands and thousands of stars. But you don't need to look that far to see something amazing. Even the moon, just our nearest neighbor, the shadows that are cast by the craters and the history of impacts. And why does it go around us every month? No strings attached. And talk about going around us, how about the International Space Station? This is something that's orbiting us 18 times per day, and it's humanity's permanent residence in space since the year 2000. Astronauts come and go from this place. We don't even know their names. We're truly in the space age. Although you might know this one fellow right here. And we're even reusing rockets. We're landing them vertically on barges in the ocean. We reload, we'll refuel, we'll relaunch, the ultimate cosmic recycling. And this is where we're at. But you know, these days I'm looking at the sky through a slightly different lens. This is a solar panel I received from a fellow I bought a couch from on Craigslist, and he drove a Tesla Model S and his wife a Nissan Leaf, and they said they'd never been to a gas station in 3 years. I was impressed by that. You know, I've been teaching my grade 9 classes about the connection between human activity and the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and the effect it was having on the climate. And I wanted to learn more about that, so I started to read as much as I could. And I started to look at pictures sort of like these. Here's an image of the atmosphere changing over the years and the amount of CO2 that's increasing. I asked people who knew more about this than I did, and I wanted to gather as much information as I could about the idea of sustainable, renewable sources of energy, because this just couldn't be sustained. So, of course, I got my solar panel now. So I mounted it on this TV cart. I connected it to a battery pack I got from BC Hydro. I would roll it outside, I'd charge the battery, I'd roll it back inside, I'd power things in my classroom, computers and cell phones and various things. But now it's become this. The solar panel is permanently mounted on the roof of my school. The battery pack is wired into the wall. And of course, I'm now running 15 LED lights in my classroom. The room is fully illuminated by solar power. And we're running initiatives like this. The Friday before spring break, I asked the teachers to shut off as much as they can, lights or computers or projectors, whatever they don't need, just to show that there is power to be saved. And there's a lot of power saved. We're extending this beyond electricity now, though. We're now into sustainability of the resources of the earth. And we're looking at growing food in the community garden. We've adopted the creek that flows to the back campus of our school, and we're removing invasive species, and we're monitoring the water and the litter situation. I bought in. I'm now driving a fully electric car myself, a Nissan Leaf. Here it is charging around the communities of Langley and Abbotsford for free, public. I've changed all of the light bulbs in my house to LEDs and CFLs. And now this is a place that my wife doesn't go anymore. You ever notice that the most poisonous snakes and frogs are also the most colorful and shiny? And I'm starting to look at these places like that. They're always so colorful and shiny, but they're selling a poison that we need to get ourselves off of. But it's going to take time. It's going to take years. But you watch over the next 20 or 30 years how much of our energy is being replaced by solar and wind. The coal and oil will go by the wayside. So you'll see more electric vehicles on the road over the next 3 to 5 years. And now lessons in school are more exciting. I can teach about batteries, and I do in electrochemistry. And it's exciting now because this is the way we'll power our lives. We'll be doing it with electricity, and how do we store that power in batteries? And there's lots of lessons to be taught. There's lessons of economy and transportation and geography and history and economics. There's debates to be had that we have to engage in, but we have to be knowledgeable, and we have to know what the issues are. And you know, when it comes to my classes, I'm satisfied that my students know now what the issues are, but most importantly, they also know what the solutions are. Thank you for this opportunity.